Hey, what's going on? It is Thursday night, November the 6th, 2008, and it's been a very busy week. I'm sure you probably noticed that, with the presidential election happening and all that good stuff. And that's what I wanted to open this video talking about, okay? Now, on Tuesday night, we witnessed history. Okay, now we don't know right now if it's going to be good history or bad history. We don't know what's going to happen. I mean, maybe you're an Obama supporter, maybe you're a McCain supporter. It doesn't really matter. But either way, history was definitely made on Tuesday night, and you probably saw that when the clock struck 11 o'clock in the East, and you turned it on the networks, and you saw where Obama had been elected president. Well, again, it is history, but we'll just have to wait and see on whether it's going to be good or bad history. But now, while I've been thinking about that, I'll tell you one thing. I am happy that all these negative ads are no longer on the TV. It just seemed like, especially in the last couple of weeks, you couldn't turn on your TV without seeing at least two of them during a commercial break. Am I right about that? Think about that whenever you turn your TV on. Now, I'm not talking about just the presidential election. I'm talking about your local elections, your state elections as well. I mean, the negative ads were just everywhere. And we had our fair share here in the Northwest Florida as well. And even know that we've already elected our officials, and I think there's still some races that are still too close to call, like the Minnesota Senators race, and we'll have to wait and see on that one. But for the most part, all the elections are over with. And I noticed some candidates still dropping negative ads and saying negative things about the winners, and really that just shows bad sportsmanship. If you want my honest opinion on that, I'll give you a good case in point. The guy who just got elected, our sheriff, we just elected a new sheriff on Tuesday. And he was being interviewed by one of our local TV stations, and they asked him how things were going, and what he felt about everything. And he said something like, "I'm just happy to be the boss." Well, his opponents jumped all over that and said that he was sounding too cocky and all this other stuff. Well, I mean, he is the boss. He's the sheriff. I mean, I don't think he really meant anything by that. But you see, they're going to jump all over that and make it seem a lot more negative than it really is. I mean, I don't really think he meant anything by that. But you see what I'm talking about? It just seems like that some people just don't want to let things go when it comes to that. All right, now, what does this have to do with mobile DJing? Well, I'll tell you exactly what it has to do with mobile DJing. I checked out some websites of DJs, not only from around my area, but around the nation as well. And I've actually seen where some of these mobile DJs will tear down their competition. Okay? That's not what you want to do. Okay, now when I talk about running a campaign, it goes back to the presidential election. I mean, did you notice that really when they ran negative ads, it really didn't get them anywhere? I mean, really think about that. And see, this is my opinion on the whole thing. I think that guy number one needs to, say what he's going to do, what his policies are. Let guy number two say what he's going to do and how he's going to do, what his policies are. Then let the people vote. That's the way I feel. There's no reason to tear each other down and things like that. You see all that all the time. But, 20, 30 years ago, you weren't really seeing too much of that. But see, that's the one thing about mobile DJing as well. Okay, if you want to get gigs and be a good DJ and get a lot of gigs and be one up on your competition, don't tear down your competition. Try to prove that you have the best product. Okay, kind of like these presidential campaigns should be doing. They need to prove more or less why they're the better candidate instead of trying to prove why their opponent isn't the better candidate. You see what I'm saying there? That's what it relates to when it comes to mobile DJing. You've got to prove that you have a better product and that you are better than your competition, but not by running them down, just by showing simply that you got a better product. Let me give you an example. I looked at a website of a DJ who just really smeared a lot of other DJs in the area. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, why is this guy acting like a jerk? And that's really what it looked like on his website. I'm not going to say his name or anything like that. But let's just say that when I read that website, I could not believe it. I'm thinking, how in the world could this guy ever get any gigs? I mean, he was talking about how he's got his doctorate in I forget what he got his doctorate in, but he was talking about how he got his doctorate in college and how he's got all this education, things like that. Well, what does that have to do with mobile DJing? And he was talking about that if you didn't have a doctorate in or a college degree or anything like that, you weren't anything. You couldn't be a mobile DJ. And he was really talking negative about his competitors, and I just don't see how he could ever get any gigs. And I really don't know if he has gotten any gigs because I have heard negative things about him. Okay, and I haven't checked his website lately or anything like that to see if he's changed it, but he just really tried to put himself on a real pedestal and tried to make himself look like God, if that makes any sense. Trying to make anybody who didn't have his credentials and things like that, make them feel like they're below him, including other DJs. And that's not what you want to do. What you want to do is you want to paint a positive impact about why you are the better DJ, not why your competition is the worst. Okay, you see what I'm saying when it comes to that? And so that's really what you really want to try to do. Now, what am I talking about when I say that? Well, I'm talking about, talk about your particular DJ business. Talk about, why you have better lights, why you have a great sound system. Kind of build yourself up on that, but don't say something like, okay, well, I've got these brand new JBL speakers, and I've looked at my competition. They use nothing but crap. I mean, you don't want to say anything like that. You could say something like, I've got two giant JBL speakers that put out the best sound in town. You see what I'm saying? Now that really makes it sound a lot better. That's what you got to do, and that's really what's going to make clients come to you first. Because if they see you cut down your competition and things like that, they're not going to want to come to you because they're going to look at you as a jerk. Okay, you don't want to be a jerk. I don't care, if you're the best DJ in the world. I don't care if you got the best sound equipment in the world, the best light show there is, and things like that. If you're a jerk, nobody's going to want to hire you. I can promise you that because I've seen it happen before. You got to be positive. You got to show why you're the best. You're the better candidate. I guess is lack of a better word there. And you don't do that by giving out negative ads and negative feedback to other DJs and things like that. And I have had other brides call me up, and they've asked me things like about a certain DJ or something like that, and I'll just tell them, well, I really don't know too much about them, but this is what I've heard. I've heard other brides say that they've not been happy with this guy's work. And we'll just leave it at that. I won't go into details. I won't say, oh, no, you don't need to hire that jerk. He's a scumbag and all this other stuff. You see what I'm saying? We see a lot of that sometimes. And just because we're in a mobile DJ business, that doesn't mean we're immune from it by any means. Okay, so that's something to really keep in mind. Just remember, always run a positive campaign in mobile DJing because it will come back. And, the more positive things that you can say, the more positive things you can do, it's going to pay off in the end. Believe me on that one. Okay? Okay, no events this weekend. I actually get a weekend off. I've actually got to work at the radio station from noon to 6 on Sunday. That's noon to 6 Central Time. So if you want to hear me on the radio Sunday afternoon, just check in at WXBM.com, click on the Listen Live button, and you can hear me on the radio from noon to 6 Central Time. That's 1 to 7 Eastern Time on Sunday afternoon. We'll have some giveaways and things like that. So make sure you check it out and join me at that time. Practice and enjoy.